The movie begins at the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. An agent named Vivi meets with the CIA director and another man to discuss their target, Wolfgang Brown, also known as the Wolf. The target is attempting to sell weapons to terrorists alongside his partner, Bino. The director assigns Vivi to kill them both, and she asks which agent can handle the mission. The agent in question is Ethan Renner, who is currently in a hotel in Paris with another agent, Yasmin. They plan to kill Bino, who is set to make a deal with Serbian buyers. Before this can happen, Ethan kills the buyers and quickly swaps the briefcase Bino is holding, which contains secret codes. He hands the briefcase to agents waiting in a van, but his phone suddenly rings to remind him it's his daughter Zoe's birthday. Ethan rushes to call her from a payphone and uses his watch as collateral to get some coins from the vendor for the call. He calls Zoe, but the call goes to voicemail. Meanwhile, inside the hotel, Yasmin's identity is compromised when Bino recognizes her. He drags her body into an elevator, waiting for it to pass through so he can decapitate her. Subsequently, his men shoot at the agents in the van, leading to a gunfight from the hotel lobby to the streets outside. As Ethan pursues Bino, he kills his henchman before chasing the villain. Ethan starts feeling weak and dizzy, but manages to catch up with Bino. He collapses before shooting Bino in the leg. Despite this, Bino escapes, while Ethan loses consciousness. Moments later, Ethan wakes up in a hospital where the doctor reveals he has cancer that has spread to his lungs. The doctor gives him a prognosis of 3 to 5 months to live. Ethan returns to his apartment to find a family living there. The father of the family is named Jules, and he warmly welcomes him and explains that they are refugees seeking a new place to live. Ethan goes to the police station to complain, but is informed that forcing the family out could lead to his arrest. Back at his apartment, Ethan pulls out his gun in front of Jules, but eventually allows the family to stay until Jules' daughter gives birth. Ethan calls his ex-wife, Tina, who hesitates to meet him until he says it's something important. They go to a lawyer together to sign Ethan's will, where he tells Tina he is dying but doesn't want Zoe to know. He wants to see his daughter, but Tina sets a condition. He must quit working for the CIA. Ethan agrees, and they pick up Zoe from school. Their reunion is awkward, with Zoe clearly uninterested in seeing Ethan. Soon, a handsome young man approaches Zoe, and she introduces him as her boyfriend, Jonas. After Jonas leaves, Ethan gives Zoe a purple bike, thinking it's still her favorite color. However, she chooses to ride the train with her friends instead, leaving Ethan to use the bike himself. Ethan stops at a store and meets Agent Vivi. She mentions Zoe's name and shows him the watch he left at the hotel. She takes Ethan in her car and offers him a job. Ethan initially refuses, but Vivi tempts him with an experimental drug that could save his life. Hearing this, Ethan accepts the mission, and Vivi explains that his task is to find and kill the wolf. She brings Ethan to a hotel to locate a man who knows the whereabouts of Bino's accountant. She informs Ethan that there's only one man inside, but when Ethan enters, he finds 5 men. He and Vivi kill all of them after none of them provide any useful information. While in the elevator, Ethan tells Vivi he'll only continue the mission if she pays him $150,000 and provides a $1 million life insurance policy. Vivi agrees and gives Ethan a shot of the experimental drug. Meanwhile, Bino meets with a man and gives him a photo of Ethan, instructing him to keep an eye on him. In the next scene, Ethan goes to Tina and Zoe's apartment and hears Zoe screaming. Thinking she's in danger, he breaks the doorknob and forces his way in, only to find that Zoe is upset about her bad haircut. Tina is upset with Ethan because he promised to cook dinner, but he's 3 hours late. She informs him that she's leaving for a meeting in London the next day and plans to hire a babysitter for Zoe. However, Ethan insists on taking care of their daughter himself. Later that night, Ethan starts feeling dizzy and calls Vivi, saying he's hallucinating. Vivi assures him it's a side effect of the drug and instructs him to drink vodka to ease his symptoms. The next morning, Tina leaves and Zoe walks in wearing a red wig. She notices Vivi calling Ethan's phone, but Ethan tells her it's his boss on the line. Later, Ethan tries to get Zoe to ride the bike to school, but she prefers to walk and removes her wig. When Ethan meets Vivi again, she gives him the promised money and reminds him to keep his heart rate low. She instructs him to find a car salesman named Hamilton to gather information for the mission. Ethan goes to the dealership, insults Hamilton's employees, and beats them up before waiting in Hamilton's office. When Hamilton returns, Ethan takes him back to his apartment and threatens his family to extract information. During the interrogation, Ethan receives a call from Zoe's school, where the principal insists on speaking with him. Since the interrogation isn't over, Ethan stuffs Hamilton into his car trunk and takes him along. At the school, Ethan learns that Zoe punches another student. Zoe explains that she does it because the student is mocking a girl from Pakistan. Ethan isn't mad and adds that punching bullies is an effective way to deal with them. When Hamilton starts making noise from the trunk, Ethan punches him and tells him to be quiet. Back in the car, Zoe storms off, annoyed by Ethan's behavior and persistent coughing. However, she later calls him to apologize and asks to meet at her favorite spot, a small theme park near the flying chairs. Ethan initially prioritizes finding the accountant, but eventually leaves to meet Zoe. They ride various attractions together and drink hot chocolate at a restaurant. After spending time together, Ethan heads to a store where the man Bino hires appears with a shotgun. The man shoots Ethan, but Ethan gets up unscathed, revealing he's wearing a vest. They end up in a fight, and the man nearly kills Ethan by stabbing him in the neck, but Ethan shoots him dead. Returning home, Ethan finds a message on Zoe's computer from a friend saying they will meet at the tattoo gallery. Concerned for Zoe's safety, Ethan hurries to the location and finds a car with Zoe's bag inside. He breaks the car's window and finds a flyer for a place called Spider. Ethan goes to Hamilton's house to ask about Spider, and the twins explain it's a party house. Ethan heads to Spider, a nightclub, and finds Zoe drinking with her friends. Feeling dizzy again, he drinks vodka to steady himself. He follows Zoe near the bathroom and sees 3 men harassing her. When one of the men stops Ethan, his combat instincts take over, and he brutally beats them before taking Zoe outside. The next morning, Zoe wakes up with no memory of the night. Still in her dress, she prepares to go to school, but Ethan insists she change. He also insists she ride a bicycle to school, but Zoe angrily reminds him that he never taught her how to ride one. As a result, Ethan spends the day teaching his daughter, earning applause from the crowd watching. Later, Zoe tearfully asks why Ethan is absent for so long. She suspects he has another family and kids, but Ethan assures her this isn't true. As they continue bonding, Zoe admits she punched the girl at school because she is flirting with Jonas. Later, Ethan drops off Zoe at school, where Jonas sees them. Eventually, Ethan finds the accountant, Guido, who is escorted by guards. Ethan throws tear gas at their car and kidnaps Guido before blowing up the van. He takes Guido to his apartment to exchange the briefcase with secret codes for the detonation codes held by Wolf and Bino. That night, Ethan returns home and learns that Jules' daughter has given birth to a healthy baby girl. The family names the baby Ethan in gratitude for letting them stay. Jules announces they're leaving as promised, but Ethan insists they can stay as long as they want. Later, Ethan visits Zoe and learns Jonas invites her to prom, but she admits she doesn't know how to dance. While teaching Zoe to dance, Tina arrives and watches them tearfully. They have dinner together as a family, and Tina tells Ethan he needs to tell Zoe about his condition before it's too late. The next morning, Vivi calls Ethan, informing him that Bino is at the Grand Hotel. Ethan rushes there and spots Wolf in a car driven by Hamilton. He chases them, ramming their car off a footbridge. However, Wolf and Bino escape, and Ethan lets Hamilton go so he can return to his family. Ethan chases the 2 villains into the subway, but his nose starts bleeding and he feels dizzy. Before he can shoot Wolf, Bino drags Ethan to the train tracks. He waits for the train to arrive, despite Wolf ordering him to finish Ethan off. Fortunately, Ethan regains his strength and pushes Bino in front of an oncoming train. However, he faints afterward, and Wolf quickly escapes. When Ethan regains consciousness, he finds that Vivi has taken him to her apartment. She reminds Ethan that Wolf has escaped and informs him that the treatment shows positive results. The next day, Ethan, Zoe, and Tina go to meet Jonas and his family. Jonas's father introduces Ethan to his business partner, who turns out to be Wolf. The two recognize each other and feel uneasy as they shake hands. Jonas's parents accompany them to a club where Tina realizes that Ethan is on a mission. She suspects that Ethan is lying to her, but he assures her that he is telling the truth. Without warning, Wolf's men shoot Ethan, prompting him to chase after them. Ethan kills all of Wolf's men before cornering Wolf in an elevator. He shoots the elevator cables, causing it to fall and crash to the ground floor. Meanwhile, Jonas and Zoe find a private room where they dance and share their first kiss. Wolf crawls out of the wrecked elevator, but Ethan finds him. However, Ethan begins to feel weak again and can't shoot Wolf. He drops his gun, which Wolf desperately tries to reach. Just then, Vivi arrives and kicks the gun toward Ethan so he can finish the job. Thinking of Tina and Zoe, Ethan hesitates and lowers the gun. Frustrated, Vivi takes the gun and finishes off Wolf herself. A few weeks later, Ethan stays with Zoe in a house by the sea. Soon, Tina arrives, and Ethan admits his shortcomings to her and Zoe from the very beginning. He promises never to leave them again and to abandon his old job for good. Zoe walks up to them and asks her mother to prepare hot chocolate for both her and her father. Ethan is in the living room while Tina and Zoe stay together in a room. Zoe asks her mother if Ethan will stay with them for good, but Tina's answer is uncertain. Meanwhile, Ethan finds a box containing a large syringe and a note from Vivi wishing him a Merry Christmas. She gives him medicine so he can continue spending time with his family. From a distance, Vivi stands watching the family in their home, and this is where the movie ends. Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for future uploads.